All right. Higher Calling Podcast, episode number 23, Michael Jordan episode here. We got Toby and Matt from Farm to Fire, Louisiana, two chefs, TikTok creators, and social media influencers. And they got together and have established their company trying to bring things back to nature the way they were first described. And how's it going, guys? I appreciate you coming on here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's an honor. We appreciate the opportunity to be on here and talk with you, man.
No, anytime, man. And whenever I first got on the phone, we had my buddy Sky Olivier and KP. I'm wearing his shirt today. Sky Swamp Mule. Check him out.
I see it.
But he kind
of be wearing my hat he made for it.
Hey, look, we're not wearing our hats because it's been raining all day.
Right.
Just gonna say that, Sky.
You know what?
We want to protect those hats, man.
Yeah, we only got one, man.
That's right. And they some nice hats, but that's some good people, man. And he said y'all good people, and y'all be some good ones to get on here. And when I first talked to you, Matt, you was kind of like, tell me what you're doing. And I kind of told you I didn't really know what's going on. I'm talking to people and kind of doing this. And you said, man, that's kind of like how our story developed. So I can't wait to hear about it today.
That's right. That's us, man. We started, oh gosh, last year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a year now. We started with kind of organic conversations. Matt and I, we get kind of, I guess, to go back before we get to that part. People ask us all the time, if you look at our stuff, it says Farm to Fire, established 1985. Mm-hmm. And so people ask us, why 1985? Y'all been in business that long? Absolutely not. But that was the year Matt and I became best friends. We were 10 years old in 1985. Okay. And so 2025, we turned the big 5. And we've moved off and been across multiple states and had multiple careers and raised kids and got grandkids now and came back together. And, both of us grew up hunting and fishing together and cooking outside. And, we kind of just said we needed a way for us to, one, reconnect, and two, find a way to disconnect. We kind of called it our, outdoor therapy, like it was when we were growing up. And, I kind of believe that on the creeks and off the streets kind of mentality. And that's kind of how we grew up.
I like that.
But we that's kind of how this thing kind of evolved. We didn't start out with social media in mind or, influencing or any of that. It was really about us coming back together and getting back out in the woods and hunting and getting back around the fire. And kind of remembering some of that campfire wisdom and, reconnecting. And we always knew, at least in our families and growing up, good food always brings people together. And we always had an affinity for cooking. And I sure still got an affinity for eating it. And, so we figured that we'd just kind of start there. And here we are today, a year later.
Yeah, we're about a year into it. I think we started really taking it serious as a potential business opportunity, probably back in March of this year.
As far as the business opportunity, you talk about making the videos or selling a seasoning, which part of it?
So we'll go back a little bit. Toby, I think, is the one that really coined the Farm to Fire name, because Farm to Fire, like he was saying, was the two of us, best friends, had an opportunity to get together, and I raised a bunch of meat animals out here on the property. And when we would harvest, Toby was in. I wasn't harvesting an animal without him. So, we would have a phone conversation, and Toby would say, "Hey man, you want to farm to fire this weekend?" Well, what that means for us is when we harvest an animal, we're going to clean it up and get it in the ice chest, whether it's a deer, or sheep, rabbits, whatever we're doing. But we're not just going to stop and throw it in the freezer. We're cooking.
We're going to end the day just like you got behind us right now. There's going to be something to eat. We're going to eat something.
Dude, we're going to cook some backstrap. We're going to, whatever it is. It's like we're not going fishing or hunting just to throw it in the ice chest and eat it later.
That was where
we're going to eat it. We're going to eat some of it right now,
And we're going to be deep frying that heart, huh?
That's what we do.
Yeah,
man. Don't knock the heart, Chad. Man, that's delicious.
Love the heart, man. I'll tell you.
I love it.
One of our favorite things, man, is on that sear ring on that
fire.
That heart
That's
is on
first.
that
That's the
cereal.
first. That's the appetizer, brother.
That's
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
But yeah, and so that's kind of the Matt said it. You know, that's how the phone conversation would go. You know, it's like, all right, brother. You know, let's farm to fire this Saturday, or what we gonna do? You know, and
I like it.
it's like, you know, all right, hey, look, we going to the lease, or we're going hunting. We need some rabbits. Let's take something so we got something to cook. We need to farm to fire this weekend. And so, you know, that's kind of how this thing started with us. And
when we go to deer camp. We're taking sheep. We're taking rabbits. We're taking all kind of stuff, man. We're gonna
Y'all
make
y'all like the guy that Noah's Ark over there, huh?
yeah, we pretty much.
I think we the more exotic it is, sometimes I think the more we like it.
Sure. That's
But,
awesome, man.
It's just fun. You know, it was fun. It reminds us, I guess, of growing up, you know, as children. You know, we grew up in deer camp. You know, Toby's dad would haul us off to deer camp on the weekends, man, and, you know, shooting squirrels, hunting deer, you know, whatever it was. We grew up, young children, learning how to harvest animals, you know, learn how to skin an animal. And, you know, I don't know, it's just,
I mean, we grew up also in a time where it was okay and cool to ride around with your shotgun on the rack and hanging in the back window of your truck.
Oh, yeah, you'd see shotguns in the school parking lot.
It wasn't because we were a threat. It was because when the bell rang, we went hunting. And
something over there, we needed some food.
So like, that's what people miss today, right? You hear all this stuff. I won't get into that. But, you know, we'd get out of school. We were hitting the water. Or we were hitting the woods. And we did. And that's what we did. And,
it's funny, too. We grew up in Mandeville. And I don't know if you know anything about Mandeville. Mandeville it's pretty. It's grown a lot over the years.
It's not where we grew up.
It grew a lot after Katrina, after 2005. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a different place.
Yeah, it was a lot of rock roads, man. A lot of woods.
Sure.
You know, it was like the country.
Well, that was where people from the city would move to have a second home or country living. You know, in between old Mandeville and Lacombe over that way. You know, kind of our stomping grounds. But yeah, that's something. But how things change, and it's always going to change. And there's nothing wrong with change sometimes, as long as it's for the good. But yeah, it's so, you know, kind of that's our story. That's the 1985 story of it anyway, and it just fit with us. It's like, you know, we may have started coining this thing, and we may have started it a year ago as far as the cameras and all this. But you know, for us, we've been farm to firing since we were 10 years old. Okay, just how we did it, and that's what we called it. You know.
Yeah, but, and your guys said y'all met over there in 1985 in Mandeville?
We were in 5th grade. We were 10 years old. And I think like most good friendships with men, it almost started out in a fist fight. And I was a chip on my shoulder kind of guy from the other side of the tracks. And Matt was new to the school, and so was I to the area. And we kind of, all our families from here, and we relocated. My dad worked in the oil refineries till he retired, and he moved over there to get kind of some of that country living, and we met each other, and you know I was kind of the bully on the block, or thought it was, and it wasn't that I was anything bad or tough. It's just I had a chip on my shoulder kind of kid, and met him, and we kind of connected, and instead of fighting, we became friends. And it doesn't mean that we didn't fight a few other people along the way as friends, but we kind of connected that way, and it was you know, kind of, man, we look back on it. And he moved off and did his thing, and I did my thing, and I'll never forget. I came back. I was living in Texas and working for a lot of years over there, and came back home to South Louisiana. I think I was doing construction. I was going to Home Depot, and I was walking through the parking lot, and there he was in the parking lot. We were passing each other. And man, we hadn't probably seen each other in maybe 10 years, maybe 5-7 years at least. It'd been a while. And, you know, it's like we'd seen each other the day before. And I mean, it was like, man, you know, what's up, brother? It's like it didn't matter about all the years that had passed or what was going on. And it was kind of, you know, that's kind of how it came about. And this thing's just kind of, like I said, it's just kind of evolved from that. I mean, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got in a lease together, and you know, started hunting
again together, and you know, it's kind of all, you know, where we're at today. Kind of led us to where we're at today.
And y'all are both in 2 different states now, huh?
No, we both back in. I mean, I lived in Matt's been in Louisiana. He's had businesses over here his whole adult life. We both left high school from South Louisiana. We went to Louisiana Tech together. We were roommates at Louisiana Tech for a year.
Okay.
And I moved. I came back, and he stayed at Tech, and I came back and went to work in the oil refineries and at a Norco. And then after a few years of that, I moved to East Texas. I moved to Texas, took a job up in Texas.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I got my two oldest kids still live in Texas. And so
Okay.
I was up there for a while and worked my way up through different companies and went back to school and, ended up getting a degree in I had an affinity for, I love science. And so ended up going into the corporate world and doing like food science, R&D. Then went into operations management, just kind of kept working my way up and with a really good, privately owned reputable company. And then decided to go back in business for myself, which has brought me back down to the Gulf South. And so I've been down here now for, I don't know, probably, I guess I moved back about 8 years ago or so now. And, so we've been, we're both here. I'm in, like I said, East Franklinton area, and I'm Ponchatoula area over that way. So.
Okay, y'all not far from me over there.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Good, man. That's awesome.
We're in about an hour from each other,
Nothing wrong with that. Where's the studio at over there where y'all record at?
Yeah, you're video and in the studio right here.
I got
This
you.
is our cook shack. We're sitting in it right now.
Where's y'all's cook shack located?
Franklinton, Louisiana.
Okay, so you up there by Matt. I got you.
Yep.
We're on my place right now.
Yep.
We wanted to have the fire. But if we turn this camera around, you'll see the cook
We'll
shack.
do it for you. We'll show you where.
I'm gonna give you a little sneak.
People will recognize where the videos are going.
Yeah. All right.
So, this is the cook shack. All right.
Nice.
Come back around.
I like it.
But we wanted to be by the fire. We didn't.
Yeah, you might as well do
Can
it
you hear
right there with all. Yeah, I got
okay.
you, baby. What about me?
No,
y'all
I
good?
said
Audio's
you
good?
froze up for.
Yeah,
everything's good, but you froze for a second. I said we want to be by the fire.
No, absolutely. It sounds good, man. Yeah.
And
Warm me up a little bit.
we were shooting pumpkins today.
It started out with us just really wanting to. My son called me yesterday, Chad. He called us up. He's going hunting with us. He's meeting us over there this weekend, and we're excited, as you can tell. And that's what I was telling you earlier. It's like I can't tell you what we're going to be doing tomorrow, but in 11 months, I can tell you next year, 2025, when our next year.
But time, huh?
He called me up. He said, "Dad, my scope's messed up on my rifle." He said, can I borrow a rifle? I said, all right, yeah, I'll bring you a rifle. I said, last time the gun he's going to use, he shot it. I hadn't shot it. It's been in the closet,
Mm-hmm.
So I told Matt, I said, man, I need to fire these rifles, and check these guns out. And I did it no more he's 23 years old. I didn't want him coming back saying it was Dad's fault. It's not going to be gun error. It's going to be operator error. So we made sure of that today, Them 23-year-olds like to talk trash to their dads, so I was going to make sure it wasn't my fault, but. And it kind of evolved into we had all these pumpkins, and my daughter, who is she'd get mad at me for saying this, but she's the chef, and she calls us up, and me and Matt, she's like, it'd be a great idea if y'all take pumpkins and find a cool farm to fire way of taking and using the smoker and seasoning them up, and do this, do that, put a little bit of this on these, and just smoke and roast pumpkin seeds and carry them as a snack. I told Matt, he said, man, that's great. We were going to shoot pumpkins no matter what. We might as well make something out of it. So,
yeah, great with it.
It just kind of evolved into a cooking video. We didn't even mean for it to, but.
Man, and it's really cool what y'all are doing, just getting around and, getting around the fire, making the best use of the time and the resources you have. And just like I was telling y'all earlier, it's like, everybody now, we work in the city and everybody travels for work and everybody's in the cities and people don't even hunt no more. People don't fish. People can go buy food, from McDonald's, from whatever restaurant it is. And we can get in a whole, debate about, how nutritious the food is. But what people lose is the ability to get back to nature and get back around the campfire. Telling stories and, coming together, and you could call it tribal, whatever it was, but just like the Native Americans had, it's just like, that's where everybody come, because not only was it, for heat, that was where the food was cooked, that was where the resources were at, that was where the families got together, and that's a whole symbiotic, ecosystem relationship right there around there. So I mean, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing.
And man, I think it's even further for us. It was just kind of like we we laugh at ourselves for saying this because but we can remember being kids and sitting around like my grandfather or people in our family, and we can all relate to this. Well, back in my day, right?
Sure.
Everybody back in my day, and
Uh-huh.
man, my eyes rolled back in my head. Back in your day when a Coke was a nickel and popcorn was free. I get it.
Uh-huh.
Everybody walked uphill both ways and
That's
in
right.
the snow barefoot.
It snowed 40 hours a day.
Rolling back. And what's funny is we sit around going, I say it all the time. He'll just laugh at me. I'll say, well, man, you remember back in the day? And that's like, what comes to reality is, we got all these kids at different ages, both Matt and I, these are adults married, and, I got my first grandbaby and he's got grandkids. And so, it's like if the cell phone went down, they'd be froze like statues. If I told kids in Texas, Dad, I don't have GPS, ain't working. Well, I can tell you how to get here. They wouldn't get in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd end up in Montana. You hear what I'm telling you? I'm
I
telling you,
hear.
head to you know which direction the Gulf of Mexico is? Head that direction. They'd end up in Montana. And
Hey,
so,
if you give them an atlas, they wouldn't know what to do with that thing. They think you're supposed to sit on it to
turn
look
it
over the
upside
steering
down
wheel.
and
You know
read
what I
it
mean?
from the back. Yeah.
Right.
And so, listen. I mean, if you have it at your, if that's what you know and that's what you have, it's just it is what it is. But we started talking about all that. It's important that I don't think this I don't think this stuff should die. I don't think it should be over, and I don't think it takes a lot of effort and energy. One to remind people where they can find real truth. That's number one in my life and Matt's. I know where to go for truth, and I want my kids to know where to go for that truth as well. And and that may not resonate with all people, but like I said, I'm not going to apologize for that either. So and then some of these skills and these things that not to get all survivalist on anybody, because that's not who we are. What we're about so much is just that there's real things that you can find value in. Like I said earlier before we started recording, I truly believe there's a time and place for everything in every season of everyone's life and every day. And for us, there's a time to put the phone down. There's a time to look up. And there's real wisdom and stuff to be gained with these connections around these fires and just around the black pot, like some of the connections we made in this social media family. I mean, we've made more connections just around good food and a black pot than we've made with people we've known more connected than people like Matt said we've known our whole life. So it's been really interesting to see that kind of evolution, how things work.
Yeah.
It's super cool that y'all have got the family involved, everybody going hunting or fishing, whatever y'all doing, because it's just how many of those skills are going to be lost because people don't do it. Like I was saying earlier, and a while back we went down to Gulf Shores and I brought some string and some nets or whatever. We're going crabbing, and I got my 17-year-old girl, and she's a great kid. She's super intelligent. She does well in school and all that stuff. And we were running crab lines. And dude, we didn't catch anything the whole day. And right there at the end, I ran some crab lines over there by the docks. Didn't think we would catch anything. We caught a couple of crabs. She was out there running crab lines, you know what I mean? And I said, you having fun? She said, I love this, Daddy. And like, I never would have thought that she would have had such a good time doing that.
Hey man,
because
success breeds success. You know that. They start having fun. Catching's always fun, man.
Absolutely. But I was like, do you want to go do this another time? She said, I would love to. And I was like, we're going fishing. You know what I mean? I'm bringing you fishing.
Connection, man. That's right.
That's farm to fire philosophy, man. That
Sure.
I know in our little pre-talk we talked about the Gather Harvest Connect. I don't know if that was pre-talk or
it was pre-talk.
Well,
that was pre-talk.
Tell me about Harvest.
So the Gather Harvest Connect, the farm to fire philosophy, if you want to call it a philosophy, was, Toby and I set out farm to fire as a way of the two of us reconnecting in a meaningful way, where we turn the cell phones off. It's really not that hard for us to turn the cell phone off. I mean, kind of give you an example. If I send him a text and he sends me a text, and then I send him a text back,
We're gonna call.
One of us is calling.
That's it. I'm out.
You know, we don't do
Right.
that. We don't do these long, lengthy text message threads with one another. We're we like to verbally have a conversation. Well, Farm to Fire was our intentional way of giving ourselves, some time to actually enjoy the things we both love to do: hunting, outdoor cooking. We branded it. My background is graphic design.
Okay.
People want to know, like, and look, somebody had mentioned to us, man, Farm to Fire, man, y'all let them. We both love hats.
Yeah, every day.
I mean, I practically wear a hat to take a shower. So, we were talking about the idea, and I said, man, well, we gotta have a cool logo. If we're gonna have a hat, man, it's got to be something cool. And we did the Farm to Fire hats, but our philosophy was for the two of us. The gather together, harvest your adventure.
Right.
Our adventure could be anything. Our adventure today was shooting pumpkins. It was a blast.
Absolutely.
We had my wife
literally
filming us. It was a blast. It was awesome. So not only did we sight in a handful of rifles, then we break out the shotgun. We're like a bunch of kids, man. We're out there just enjoying our time.
Yeah.
And
everything that God put in front of you.
The connection in that is what we think it's all about.
Yeah.
And we were talking with you a little earlier. The reason we are doing what we are doing is the connections. Toby and I are relational people. We love meeting new people. We don't exclude anybody. We're interested in everybody. We're not just looking for people that like what we like. But we're interested in people because they're people. And that connection has just in a short amount of time in this world, social media, the cooking world, in a short amount of time, we have met some of the best people that I've ever met. And I mean that. Yeah. And a lot of them were inspirations to us in getting started. When we saw Cooking with Cage and Toby and I were doing something not like exactly like what he was doing, but we were cooking outdoors. We were harvesting animals.
We could relate.
Man. I mean, we were like, dude, this is cool. And we met him at a festival. We chatted. One of the most down to earth guys I'd ever met.
Really is. Good people. Very good people.
And that relationship is continuing to grow. But not only that, Joe and John, we were talking about them. I mean, we could. I'd hate to start dropping names because somebody's going to get left out. But there's that many people.
Yeah.
That we have met, and not only, Toby was talking about iron sharpening iron. Being around some of these guys make us better people. And we're grateful for that.
And it's just like a brotherhood, it's just like a big family whenever you get together with people and y'all are out there for the same reasons, like-minded individuals doing like-minded things, but all kind of different characteristics. And I've been to a few of those events, and it's really cool to, meet you guys and, meet Katie Barr and, a few other people or whatever it is. And it's just like, everybody's got their own thing. And like you said, y'all been doing this for about a year. And it's just like, you see people, who have this thing, that they present. And then when you meet them, they're just the best human beings in the world. And they're trying to ask you if you need help, or it's just you getting together with it. And you realize, I guess, just like whenever y'all saw, Cajun making those videos, is like, man, that reminds me of home. That's just like what we like to do. It's just.
Yep. Well, when we saw him doing it, we knew there wasn't a whole lot of theater behind it. It was him doing his thing. We were doing something very similar here.
Sure.
We were enjoying it. We weren't documenting it because it was just the two of us.
Yeah. We just wanted dinner. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we did have fancy hats.
Yeah. I remember we Matt talked about it, branded this thing. We bought. He built us this leather patch hat, and you can still go on our website at farmtofirelouisiana.com, and you'll see a picture with the hats. It's actually a picture. I don't know. I don't care if he gets mad. It's actually a picture of my son. We were at deer lease harvesting a deer. He killed, and he's got his hat on backwards and a hoodie, and it's the Farm
Okay.
to Fire.
Okay.
That was our branding. Matt built me one, him one, and my son one, just so we'd have something to wear to the deer lease.
Heck yeah.
And that was how we started this. We ordered 3 hats and 3 sweatshirts, and that's how this thing started.
Pretty much.
And it's
Cool.
like, man, that's fine by us.
It was our little crew.
It's like, what do we go? Where are we going? We're getting in the truck. We're going to Farm to Fire, baby. We heading
Really,
west.
baby.
We're going to Farm to Fire.
Hey,
right.
we promoted Farm to Fire for a little while, man, based off of connecting with others. We did a couple of festivals. We did a couple of, vendor booths, and we had this merch because I kind of went down that little rabbit hole, man. I started designing all kind of things, getting all kind of hats designed, and we kind of ran down that little rabbit hole. Now the whole time, man, we're interested in food, man. Like Toby said, we like to eat, and we like to eat what we harvest.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's nothing good.
No, and I'm a foodie myself, man, and I love good food. And I remember, coming up is my buddy, his daddy cooked some rabbit with some wine or something like that back in the day in the oven. And dude, I could never duplicate what he cooked. And, the first time I cooked squirrel or rabbit for my family, and it's just like, what is it? And it was like, I'm not going to eat that. And now they love it, but it's just like,
Yes.
you don't know how good something is until you actually eat it.
Until you, yeah. One of my favorite recipes, man. We had a video, Matt and I did it. We harvested rabbit right here from the farm, and one of my favorite things to eat is rabbit ragu. And so, we made a really good rabbit ragu that we still love to this day. And
what is rabbit ragu? Tell me about it, bud.
Man, it's it's a Tuscan style dish, and it's essentially rabbit stewed down in tomatoes, herbs, little bit of pancetta, a little bit of oil, tomatoes, and you're cooking this ragu down like you would think of it, like a ragu with sauce.
That red wine,
a little red wine, and you're serving that over a good Italian pasta, and so some fresh cheese on top, and it's just delicious. I still tell you, we eat all kinds of stuff, man. Everybody, picks on me. I'm the new Mikey. I eat anything and just about anything that flies, swims, crawls, or walks. But rabbit's probably one of my favorite things in the world to eat and cook. And so, it was a fun deal. You mentioned that it kind of brought us back to our rabbit ragu.
When you said wine and rabbit,
it just
made us think about the rabbit ragu.
Well, listen, next time y'all make that, I'm going to be waiting on that text to come through. You'll let your boy know. I'm going to run over to Franklin.
Look, you always got an invite, brother. We'll tell you when it's happening.
Absolutely.
Toby knows how to throw down. He knows how to throw down that rabbit ragu. It's good.
No, absolutely. You talking about whatever flies, walks, jumps, or whatever it is. That ain't like Mikey. That's like any Louisiana boy. You know what I mean?
I know. And that's what's been fun about all this, because there ain't nothing that we do or how we came up any different than anybody else you meet down here. I mean, we all, it's like that's the similarity in it all. Is that, all of us, we may have came up with different pairs or something like that, but we all grew up cooking good and eating good food. And, it was tradition in most of our households. And it's just kind of, I think that's what culturally sets us apart from a lot of other people, and I think that's why people enjoy getting to know and watch this stuff, and because it really is. It's probably it's probably one of the most unique places on the planet, in my opinion, and I believe that just culturally from the people to and when we talk about harvesting food and enjoy, like we go crabbing, man, we fish, we do it all. I mean, we do it all, and pulling that stuff out of the water or out of the woods or growing it ourselves, like Matt said, sheep to rabbits to turkey to chickens to whatever, it's like, we enjoy that. I mean,
we're not doing it because we have to. We're doing it because we like to.
We like it, it's how we like to eat. It's how we like to cook. You know, it's we enjoy it.
You can actually taste the difference, though. You know, you
Said
go
what?
buy a pack. Yeah, go buy a pack of ground meat at the local grocery store right now versus freshly harvested deer or actually a good cow, a good cow. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
and it's
but
Hey,
amazing.
I want to get just for the record, Chad. We ain't got nothing against a good slab of beef. I just want to go on
no,
the record
no,
saying that.
no, no.
We ain't got. We talking about deer hunting and fishing.
Hey,
We ain't got nothing against the cow. I'm gonna tell you that right
no,
now.
no,
That cow didn't stand a chance in this cook shack. That's for sure.
That's it. If somebody throws a steak on the plate, you ain't gonna walk away from it,
Oh,
huh?
we're gonna eat it up, man.
I
We're
know
gonna eat it
that's
up.
right. And I mean, the thing is, like all kind of natural food, I mean, it's just way better. Like the first time I had like pasture raised grass fed beef with a friend of mine, he farms or whatever, and he sold me a steer or whatever it was, and whenever we put that steer up, and first time my wife ate the steak, she's kind of like and then she tasted the ground meat, she was like, this is so much better. And after that, she wouldn't eat ground meat out the stores anymore. And I said this on another one of my podcasts or whatever, but now it's just like my deer, whenever I put them up, I grind them up in the ground meat, and that's typically how I put up most of my deer is ground meat. So for spaghettis or uh,
Yep.
whatever we cook with that, hamburgers, and I mean deer burgers are some of the best things out there. And wild hogs, whatever it is. And me and you kind of talked about this on the phone, Matt. Is like whenever I come up, I never believed in all these conspiracy theories, but it's just like now after that election in 2020 and, after the COVID vaccine and after all of this stuff, what the government's trying to tell us is, man, I don't believe in those vaccines. I kind of believe that, they're trying to poison us with the food. I try to stay away from, fast food and, some other things that I'm not going to mention, but I eat as much wild game. I grow my own vegetables. I got chickens in the yard because I know where it's coming from, you know. So just like you guys are going out there and doing stuff naturally, I think that's the way God intended it, for us to be in his playground and with his animals and forming those relationships and being with family.
yeah, we get caught up in technology, and we get caught up in the fact that we can do things faster,
Hmm.
and we can do things more proficiently. We get caught into this whole technology world, and a lot of it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's like we can kind of get caught in that hamster wheel ourselves of
Absolutely.
looking for the shortcuts, looking for the fast ways of doing everything, occupying every extra, minute of the day being
Sure.
somewhat productive or wasteful or whatever. We're just nonstop. Society is nonstop. Everything is going at such a fast pace. The fact that we can reach anybody we know instantly at all times of the day. No more landlines. Things are moving pretty quick, and the stress levels of life are moving at a rapid rate as well. Anxiety, mental health, all this stuff is through the roof. COVID didn't help any of it. COVID had us isolating. You mentioned COVID, and I think that's one of the things that people are really connecting with today is the relational aspect. You told me I couldn't go see my mom because I could kill my mom. And so we spent Thanksgiving and Christmas away from loved ones for fear of what it could do to them. Well, we bought into that once,
Yep.
not buying into it again. But the other thing is that distancing, that little bit of time. Man, you can see how much you crave connection, crave
No,
relationship, and look forward to those.
no, well, that's just like let's say Zoom or whatever it was, and a lot of social media stuff. It took off during COVID because people were looking for those interactions and they were trapped. And it's just like we gave up our freedom for a little bit of safety. And I think it was all just a big old ploy just to see how much they can control us. And I think that people should take more time, spend time with family, sacrifice a little bit of your finances and a little bit of time just to slow down a little bit, like you were talking about. It's just like everything's sped up. And how much value is it slowing down? And, my wife's big on the kids come in from school at 3:30 and she's right there and she's engaged with them. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm outside working." She said, "Come enjoy your kids." And like some of the stories they get whenever they come in, and it's just like, I can't sit there and correct them because I want to, but whenever you sit there and listen to them unload and talk, and like some of the stuff y'all are talking about, being around a fire, everybody just has time to come together and talk and just let it slow down and let it develop the way it's supposed to. How much
Well,
value is
and
in that?
I'll say this. I'll say this kind of bring it all together for me is that you and Matt just both said something. When it comes to this, just like most of us, I spent my whole adult life working, missing birthday parties, missing this, being on the road, putting in the 16 hours, 7 days a week, doing what I needed to do to provide my
Yes, sir.
family with more than I had, or to thinking in my mind I was better in their life. I was putting and emphasizing quantity over quality. And I spent
Come
my
on.
adult life doing that. I'm guilty of it. My kids will say that I'm guilty of it. And it's something that I try to make amends for every day going forward. I can't get yesterday back, but for
That's right.
this was something that for us it was an intentional way to stop, slow down, turn off, and to focus on quality over the quantity, and to try. You can't get that time back, but that exchange rate. Here's the worst thing that somebody can do, and if people watch our videos, they'll hear me say it all the time when Matt and our video. I'll laugh, look at the camera, and say, "We're doing the work that's fun," and I believe that in the fact that the worst thing that I can look back on, and we talk about why some of our fondest memories was in the woods hunting. We all got hardships. We've all got things that that can bring you down. The world will beat you down if you let it. But our fond memories were always in those type of elements. I remember knowing the exchange rate. What I mean by that is that I'm exchanging this job, this salary, this career, or this next promotion with all the time I'll never get back with the things that mean the most to me on this planet.
Come on with
And
the come on.
I knowingly kept doing it, and that's something you want to talk about a shout out. If my kids ever watch this, I love y'all, and I can't get that
Amen.
back, but I promise you I won't make that mistake again. And so for me, the exchange rate is not about quantity anymore. I will focus on quality. I'll focus on my call to purpose. I will listen to it. I'll be actively engaged in it. I'm open to it, and and that's going to be my purpose and my drive when I wake up tomorrow. And I don't care about how much or any of the titles that come with it, as much as I care about what we talked about on this video today. With us, how we treat people around us, the connections we make while we're making them, and really about me. I said it in another video we did with KP. I spent my whole life on the resume credentials. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? Building a resume. I'm really focused every day now on the eulogy credentials. I'm focused on that,
Sure.
and so
You get a little older, you get a little wiser, and you learn from your mistakes, and you want to pass that baton on.
yep,
But as you get older too, you gotta be intentional about what you're gonna do.
that's right.
And Toby in his career, and then me and my career. I thought I was having a heart attack 3 years ago. I did not allow myself time to recover, and I ran myself into the ground. And I'll be honest, I thought I was having a heart attack one day, and I asked my wife to call to bring me to the hospital. And if you know me, I'm not going to tell you to bring me to the hospital. It's got to be a heart attack, or I'm losing a limb or something, because I'm not very fond of going into them. But I thought I was dying, and I thought I was going to be airlifted, open heart surgery, and it turns out I had burnout, adrenaline burnout. I was just running wide open. Well, that changed my life. It
Yeah.
was time. It was time to take a look at what you know
You had to
what
reevaluate a little bit.
I had to reevaluate some things, and I had to, I wasn't doing things wrong. I didn't know how to really, I didn't know how to manage my life well.
Right.
And I wasn't really focused on the things that really filled me up. You know, I was putting
I
the
do know.
hobbies, I was putting the interest on the back burner,
Mm-hmm.
because things were important. Business was important. Making money was important. Running
Of
a
course.
business was important. Employees were important. And it still is. I'm not saying it's not. But I look at life through a different lens today. I'm not striving for the new truck in the driveway, man. I'd much rather meet a new individual and have a new relationship in life, a new buddy, a new friend, another pal, another person to hang out with, or talk to. I would much rather do that than have a new truck in that driveway, and that's the honest God truth.
It's got more. It's got more value.
It has
You
value.
know.
It is value. It is
Yeah.
value, and it's that relational value is incredible. The people that we've met in the last couple of months, we talked about doing this a year ago. We really started taking this serious in May.
Yeah.
So we're only a couple of months down the road here. And when we say we're taking it serious, we're having fun. We're not doing this because we have to. We're doing it because we want to. We're doing it because we enjoy it. Now we got to get out of our comfort zones and a couple little things, because you put a camera in front of me and Toby and tell us to cook. At first we were kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
But
You got to get a little more
we're,
comfortable
we're
with it.
enjoying
Sure.
it. We're enjoying it. We're having fun. We're enjoying coming up with the new ideas. We're challenging ourselves. We're honestly, this is just a blast for us. We love it. We have investments in it. Our seasoning blend was something extremely important to us. We wanted to have it right. We wanted to nail it just right. It was something that was in the works. We weren't going around trying to promote it. We actually, had there been no farm to fire, we probably would have still done it.
Okay.
It wasn't. It wasn't that we are trying to find new products, but we're introducing people to who we are.
I mean, we
Sure.
were very intentional on our seasoning. And I think the people that know us, and especially those that have tried it, we spent so much time and effort and energy on just trying to make it us, that we created a seasoning which goes to how we cook. And we wanted something that was literally that could replace the majority of the stuff in your pantry, go on everything. And you can read the ingredient statement and see high quality, spices.
Sure.
And it was something that we didn't promote, we didn't talk about, we weren't coming soons. None of that was out there for us, and refused to do so until we knew we had it. And then even when we did that, we still weren't 100% convinced. We thought we had
it
it.
was like the baby, man. When you see that person that has that child and it's got like a unibrow and maybe a patch, it just is not the prettiest looking baby in the world. You know those babies. You know what I'm talking about?
No, all mine were pretty, so I don't.
Lost y'all for a second.
I don't remember exactly where we got disconnected, but we were talking about kind of, how much time we put into making sure that thing was right. And then, of course, we thought we had it. We thought we finally got there, but, really getting it out there to, like we were talking about, this family or community, and putting it in front of people. You get so immersed in something, it's almost impossible not to be biased to it. We had tasted and cooked with it for so long and didn't promote it at all. We didn't want to do that.
Well,
We wanted to make sure, even if we came out with what we thought was the winner, that we had no problem going back to the drawing board if it wasn't where we wanted it to be with everybody else. We, in our mind, we wanted it to be something that wasn't necessarily just what we thought it was and could be. We wanted other people to experience what we were, kind of tasting and how we were cooking with it, and really created this seasoning based off how we cooked, how we wanted to use it. And So we're proud of it, man. I mean, where it's at, and kind of how it's going, and coming out with a couple of working on new product lines and staying in our lane on how we like to cook and the type of seasonings we like to use or spices we use, and so we'll continue working on it. I got to be honest with you too. We found that I talk about the work that's fun, the product development, and kind of coming up with new products that are specific to farm to fire, like who we are, how we cook, how we eat. It's we're not trying to. We're just not trying to recreate something that somebody else is doing. We're
it's y'all's own flavor. It's y'all's own flavor, just like y'all season.
It's our own flavor.
It's a taste of farm to fire. And I mean, I think it's really cool that what y'all are doing, because it's bringing people back to basics, and y'all are showing people how to have fun, in nature, harvesting off the land, and that's something that needs to be shown to people, man. And it's just what y'all are doing, just showing people how to have a good time, and family means so much. And I think it's really cool about what you was talking about over there, not your job credentials. What'd you call them? Your eulogy credentials?
Yeah. So
I think that's such a cool phrase that you said, because that's something I think about a lot is, how many times in life have I done things just for me? And how many times have I like raw dogged the world? Just not trying to do it or whatever. It's just like whenever I was young, it was just like I was only worried about myself. And it's now I'm trying to give back to other people and just make sure my children know what's important and that they're well prepared, and try HBO is something I say a lot. Help brother out. How can you help other people along your path? And it's just, I used to watch HBO when I was a kid. Now I try to be HBO and just try to help other people, and just y'all are talking about.
That's right, man.
Yeah, and y'all got such a cool community.
I like that. I'm gonna use that one, man. I'm gonna use
absolutely.
That.
Hey, put that in that pocket for later. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna use that one for sure. Yeah,
sure, man. Good.
I didn't think this for a long time, man. But you mentioned that, Matt, and I talk about it all the time. But I truly believe, I didn't know this or even recognize it. But I think the worst thing for me, people start, they ask you, try to get to know you. The worst thing for me would be if tomorrow was my last day, that the people I loved the most, all they had to say was that he worked real hard. That would be a horrible legacy. As a father and a husband, that would be a horrible legacy.
Yeah, and I mean,
please don't. I don't want anybody to misconstrue my work ethic, because I tell my son there's no magic formula. It's about the grind, but it's about what you focus on, and it's about the quality, and it's about faith, family, then career, and not getting that backwards. And so I'm trying to focus more on that now. Whereas I can honestly say that I did not for a big part of my life. And, like Matt said, you get a little bit older, we get a little wiser. And then you have these things like farm to fire. It doesn't have to be farm to fire. People can connect with all kinds of different things and, find something that they resonate with and that helps them kind of recognize some of the things we're talking about here. And for us, like we said, it's being outside, it's being around the fire, it's good food, it's cooking, and meeting a good community of people. And, for us, it kind of gives us perspective, and it helps us slow down a little bit. And for me, it kind of reminds me of faith, family, and career, and it keeps me in that lens. And I guess it gives me focus on the right things. It's probably the best way to summarize it.
Now you said it about 3 times, so I heard you say the word faith. Tell me
yes.
tell me where God's at in y'all's journey on this whole thing.
Well, I mean, probably the most important thing. I'm not, I believe St. Francis of Assisi said, preach every day when necessary, use words.
Okay, come on. I like that.
I really try to put others before myself in a lot of different ways. That's come back to bite me in the butt a handful of times, but I still think a lot of times it was the right thing to do. But I've had a couple of life-changing experiences over the last 13 years. Right. I mentioned the one about running myself into the ground, not having enough margin in my life, or not prioritizing things or doing things putting certain things before other things. Putting
Little out of
career.
order.
A lot of stuff was out of order. 13 years ago, everything was out of order.
Sure.
And I ran myself into the ground. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I couldn't put the bottle down to save my life. And I came to a crossroad. It felt like it was a kind of a 1 week everything happened. I was losing a marriage, I was losing a business, I was losing a lot of stuff in 1 week. And I was forced to look at my drinking, and I tell people are always afraid to drink around me, and listen, it was a problem I had. I can't drink. I wouldn't mind drinking a beer every once in a while, but I don't drink. I'm 13 years sober, but I had to make that choice. Well, in that process, man, life was hitting me pretty hard. I realized that I was numbing the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
I was, I don't want to get into too many details here, but I was afraid to feel good and I was afraid to feel bad. I think I was just afraid to feel.
Yeah.
So when I put that bottle down, I had feelings, and I really wasn't quite sure how to navigate them. My
Didn't
faith,
know how to deal with them, right?
I didn't know how to deal with them. I really didn't, and my faith was something I had to really cling on to. And what's funny and interesting about the faith was I reverted back to what was modeled to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even know what it was to be a Christian. And I was crying out for God to help me and change my life. And I kind of reverted back to what I was taught or maybe what I had witnessed. My parents, my mom has been a devout Christian her whole life. And what I needed was a real relationship. I didn't need to try to model what my mom and my dad did. I needed something real for me. And the last 13 years has been a journey for me in growing in my relationship with Christ in a real way, in a relational way. It's not for me, I'm not a perfect person. You might find faults in me, and I'm not claiming you're right. None of us are, and I'm not looking for other people to be either, but what has changed is Matt doesn't come first as much anymore. It's others. And for me, I have to be intentional about doing a lot of things, and I our Gather Harvest Connect, that connect is something that Toby and I talk about all the time. That's our foundational thing. That's who we are at the core. All the other stuff we're enjoying and we're having fun. And to be perfectly honest, we love this. And the fact that people are interested in what we're doing
still baffles me.
we're like, really? I mean, are they really interested? Because it's baffling to us. We're enjoying it, and it's been a refreshing thing for us. But there's something there, man, that we just kind of feel like we're led. Chad, and we don't have the answers. We're not really trying to figure it out because I don't think we could if we wanted to. But we're enjoying the ride while it lasts, and because the two of us are creative, we both owned companies, we both marketed items and products to the general public. That's a skill set that we have that we obviously are going to put to use in a product that we've invested in.
Sure.
So we have a philosophy, a farm to fire philosophy, and we have a couple of products, and we just started using social media for some of that. But at the end of the day, if we had to put it away or it didn't work, it's not what we're throwing all our eggs in the basket to do. We would love for that to be the case. But if we lose what our intentions were with Farm to Fire, Toby and I both agreed we're getting out.
Yeah, we'll walk away.
You know, if we get sidetracked from it, and it becomes about making the almighty dollar, and it's all about money, or it's all about, you know, certain things for us, we've agreed that we know we're off track, and that it's time to abandon ship and reevaluate where we are, and see what the next, you know, see what's around the next corner. But right now we really enjoy it. I mean, listen, I don't want to walk away from the relationships we built. You know, and what's interesting is some of these relationships have been very little time spent with one another, but the value that we see in them, or the, you know, the friendships that have been made, have just been absolutely incredible. I mean, lifelong friends, really.
Yeah.
And I don't want to name tons and tons of names, because you know, like I said a minute ago, we're going to leave people out, but you know, everybody has been really inspirational to us. I mean, seriously, you know, all the way down from like Amber Nicole, you know, Raging Cajun Cooking, Rachel, you know, everybody has a wonderful story. You know, we're interested in that side of them.
Sure.
We obviously love all their content, you know, but you know, every time we turn around, we're meeting somebody, like a Malcolm Rousey, and you know, the Joe and John and Audrey, and we got our Big Papa T. I'm going to throw some names out, because we got Big Papa T. He means a lot to us. He's 3 miles down the road. We met him through social media. His whole family. They're like our family. I mean, they're 3 miles down the road. You know, there are so many people here that the friendships and the relationships that we've met, we want to do this to continue to hang out with some of these folks, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And it's really cool to see people doing what they love to do. And I try to tell this to my kids, and it's just like, I asked my son what he's going to do, and he's like, I'm going to go into plants. And I said, why would you want to do that? He said, I want to go make that easy money like you. And I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, easy money. I said, I understand what you're saying now, 20 years later, but I try to tell my kids, I said, do something you love. Find a way to scrape by making a living doing something you love. And the money will come later, because if you love it, you're going to do a great job at it. And I think it's funny because y'all are sitting there and y'all are saying, why would somebody want to watch us doing what we're doing? It's like, because y'all are having a good time doing something that you like or love doing. And I really don't think that people know how to have a good time anymore without like spending oodles of money or trying to chase fast cars or fast women or all this excitement. And it's just like, I want to do something. I want to do something. It's like, what do you want to do? It's like, and y'all are just having a good old time, just cooking and trying to figure out and blowing up pumpkins. And you know what I mean? It's just,
just slowing down.
Hey, we're trying to figure out how we can make enough coin to get an Amish deer stand.
Yeah,
I like that.
We saw an Amish deer stand going up not a couple of weeks back, and we're like, man,
I got to tell you, man, I don't believe in coveting. I don't believe in coveting a thing from my neighbor. I'm not that guy, but that deer stand.
What is going on inside an Amish deer stand? That's what I want to know.
I'm going to have to check this out. I don't know what an Amish deer stand is, but I'm intrigued.
Well, somebody's going to know what this is.
But I mean, for us, it's been about like we said, I think 100 times. But Matt hit on it for me. It's just to kind of, for me, I'm in kind of a different place. I have mentioned faith, family, and career, and I've said it several times. And I got to tell you right now, and I say it right now for everybody and anybody who wants to listen. He's been a lifelong friend, and I think it goes across lines, but I think men can resonate with it when we say that if you can go through life and you can come up with a couple of few people in your life, one that you can confide in, somebody you can lean on, and then somebody that'll be there when you know what hits the fan. If that's all you come out of life with as friends, that's enough.
Sure.
Yeah, and I believe
that's rich. I mean, that's
and I believe that. And so you know, I can say that this guy right here is probably he's all three of those for me. And he's not the only one I've got in my life, and I'm not the only one that he's got for sure. We got those people in our lives, but you know, and so for me, I've spent my whole life in the world, Chad. To be quite honest with you, found
Right.
comfort in it. Graduated from a parochial school down here in Louisiana, and would I say I knew Christianity. I knew it from a ritualistic perspective. Never
Yeah.
had a relationship. Did I understand what being saved was about? I could define it quite well. Did I ever have a relationship and say that I'm gonna Jesus my Lord and Savior, but not just my Savior, but I now submit as He's my Lord. I wasn't at any of those places. What I came to realize is that if somebody as broken as me can go and lay it at the cross and just wake up and choose every day to kind of put my thoughts on the truth and just kind of let go and let some of them worries go, then I find that my pride goes down. My temper, my quick tongue. I start listening a little longer, speaking a little less. And it's not that and I believe that the most beautiful mosaics are made from broken glass, and so I believe that that's a call. I think that's kind of how He works in our lives, and I think He uses people to get you there. And Matt's been one of those for me, and my wife's been one, and even my kids to some extent. My daughter, and these are people who've inspired me to come to make those steps. To I guess at almost 50 years old to start really recognizing some of the things we've talked about here. It's important to us. Here's the thing: it's not something that we would ever push on anybody. I heard a story, and I loved it because it was an approach to what we're talking about, faith. And those who watch this video know who said this, and I'm not going to mention a name, but I heard a story. And it was essentially a guy talking about being on an airplane next to a woman, and she found out that he was a preacher while she was drinking a drink, and she said, "Oh, well, you're one of those." And what he did is he connected with her, saying that I don't agree with those either. And she said, "Well, I bet God has a problem with me holding this drink." And his reply was, "God loves you. He starts with your heart. He'll work on the drink later." And so I believe kind of that approach and how we approach our relationship. I think it grows us all, and I think there's something to be learned. I want my kids to see it in me. They have not. I've spent most of my life, and I can honestly tell you, him included, my family, my wife, my kids, my friends, people I've worked with, probably could say that they know me, and that wouldn't have been some way they would have defined me. That they would have said, "Oh, he was rooted in this or in that," and they would be absolutely 100% correct. But it doesn't mean that tomorrow they won't see it a little bit more, and next month they won't see it a little bit more, and next year they won't see it a little bit more. And that's all I try to do every day, brother. And so, and I'm going to try to keep carrying myself and meeting people, and hopefully get a little bit better at showing that. And so, and when we do that, if we choose that every day, then you just find yourself. He's going to transform you. And that's why Matt picks on me all the time because I am not known for my patience. It is not a virtue that I've come to be good at. And so we make a joke. He's at a place the other day. Here's a funny story. He's at a place and he's trying to go shopping. I can't remember what we were videoing or something. We didn't have something, and it was like this last minute deal. And he's going down the aisles, and he sends me a picture. He's in this aisle, and there's people blocking him in the back, and there's two people in the little rolling buggies in front, and he couldn't pass. He's blocked in the aisle.
They had me pinned in.
They had him pinned in. So now he's in a grocery aisle, and he's starting to feel claustrophobic. He's getting mad and frustrated, and he sends me a picture. He's like, "My patience is being tested." I reply back to him. I said, "I told you that's why we pray for temperance, because we need temperance to deal with the things that's going to test our patience. If you pray for patience, y'all, He's going to put things in your path to test it. I promise."
Don't pray for patience.
That's right.
But anyway, we laugh about that. It's kind of our joke, but it's how we kind of approach everything. And so, I mean, it's an evolution, man. And I say that, for everybody's walk is going to be different. Everybody's time and path is going to be different. And I will promise you this is that there's not the word easy that I can pick out that's mentioned once in the good book, and because it's not, and life's going to beat you down, and you can choose to be a victim of it, or you can pull yourself up and put your sights on something higher. And that's why you'll hear me say, without trying to get all trying to be something I'm not, or to preach, is to say, when you hear me say look up, I mean it in more ways from just your phone. And that's what we mean, kind of, when we talk about it.
No, and that's it, man. It's
So
just like look up, know where your help comes from, and like what both of you guys said is like relationship. It's just having a relationship with the Lord, knowing He's real, knowing that your hands, you're in His hands, and that you can't do all this stuff alone. That you need Him, and you need a community. And I heard this said, and it makes more sense the older I get. Is like, you want to know how rich you really are? Is like count all the things that you have that money can't buy you, because
that's right.
you you
Exactly right.
you, you could have all the money in the world, but if you're sick in a hospital, or you're alone by yourself or whatever, and I mean, you could pay people to come stand around you or whatever, but after the money's not involved, it's like, how many people are in your life? How many people did you touch and affect in your life and help out? And I think that's what it's all about. Those relationships, that family. And it might be blood family, and it might be people that y'all meet in y'all's community on the road at these events. And like we were saying before, it's like whenever you first meet somebody, it's like everybody has this shield up, everybody has that armor up, and you don't know them till you get around them, and you have relationship with those people, and you realize that everybody's struggling with something. Everybody's seen something you haven't. And an old man told me one time when I was very young, I got in an elevator, and I was probably in my 20s. And a guy asked me, how you doing? I was like, oh, I got this going on, that going on, that going on. Da, da, da. And guy was looked at me. He's like, Chad. I said, what? He says, nobody really wants to know how you're doing. They just want to hear good and just keep going. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. And I was like, but once you get around certain people and you actually commune with them, and you realize that you have things in common, you could humanize them, and you could form those relationships. And that's where the Lord comes in, because once you form that relationship with Him, like you said, He starts to change you. And I was down in Mexico, and some lady asked me to pray for him, and I told my buddy, I says, why does she want me to pray for him? And he looked at me, he's like, do you think she wants Chad to bless her? She sees the Lord in you, son. She's asking for the Lord to bless her through you. And I'm just like, oh, and I was
That's
just
pretty
like,
cool. I mean, that's a good story, man.
and I
We,
was
we
like,
all know I think everybody, if they really
thank
stopped and
you.
thought about it, that they could all put their finger on it and say how God's used other people in their lives. And
Mm-hmm.
so I know that to be a fact right now. And aside, doing this, sitting by this fire, and just the conversations we've had, and I think Matt probably more so helping me than I probably ever helped him on
He
that.
helps me. He doesn't think he does, but he helps me.
I mean, we build each other up. You help me
Absolutely.
because we all go through it, man. We all get up in the morning, we go to work, and Matt and I, we got the pressures of business, and we got all the stuff that everybody deals with. I mean, we got the same bills everybody else has got to pay. We got all the same stuff. We're all dealing with this together, and I think it's just really how we respond to those pressures, and then like Matt said, it's hard to do, and we're not going to get it right. I'm not going to get it right every day. He's not, you're not. But
Nobody.
if you can stop for a minute, put the benefit of others before yourself, and start understanding a little bit about what servant leadership means, and if you can try to act and walk that, I mean, people are better for it, and you'll surely be better for it and blessed for it. So I believe that, and the hard part now is waking up tomorrow and actually doing it, and that's the battle, brother. And so I'll come up short, I promise you, every day on something, but I'm gonna get up the next day. I'm gonna try again and know where to look and to figure it out. So, and I think that's the. I think if you would ask Matt if we had a commonality on something we could say that I could actually say I'd speak for him, he'd agree with. That's really there's 100 things that we could talk about in a PowerPoint, but I think that's the legacy we want to leave. I think that's what we want to see. I think that's what we want to leave when we go meet people or we do something. You know, those guys, they love what they do. They do what they say what they do, and you know, your handshake solid as oak kind of guys, and you know, they practice what they preach, or at least they try. And you know, who we got to know is who we see on video, and you know, where we're at and how we act and what we're going to be like at the grocery store tomorrow and at the bank and at the whatever, you know, it's who we are, you know. And so I think I think it's been I think it'll just keep being a fun journey, and you know, until we're called to do something else, we're gonna get up and do this again tomorrow. And so that's how we're gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what people look for is genuine characters. You know, not characters, but genuine people. Just
Oh well, they're gonna get that too. I promise.
They're gonna get both of those.
They're gonna get some characters out of it for
Yeah,
sure.
you hang out with us long enough, you're gonna call us crazy.
Yeah, that's there, no doubt.
That's all right. I love crazy people. You know. Oh
yeah, we do too.
Yeah,
yeah,
we do too.
Joe wanted me to ask y'all. He said, he asked y'all where the tacos are at.
Oh, listen.
I knew it was coming, brother. I knew it was coming. I tell you,
Joe,
Matt and I are going to do a 10-gallon pot, and we're going to cook so many tacos. Joe's going to get sick eating a taco.
Listen, Joe, after we see Joe the next time, he will never ask.
He ain't going to ask us for a taco again. We're going to fatten him up on tacos.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, we had such a good time out at that event. You guys, man, I tell you, Joe and John, everybody worked. And I'm going to go out here with all our family. That, you know, and I say family, the people who've helped us, and a bunch of names we've mentioned, you know, KP Scott, you know, Cajun, Joni, Russ, I mean, all of them. Amber Nicole, and all these people, Malcolm, you know, Robert and Paul, and Jambalaya. I mean, I could just go on and on with all these people. But, man, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody that we went and did that event in Madisonville, Texas, the Katie Bar event, and we cooked tacos. But these guys, every person, and almost all of them were there that I just named. These people, when y'all watching these videos and you're watching them, you're learning their personality. I can honestly tell you, you can tell me wrong, 99.9% of these people, how you see them is how they are. Oh, no, it's how they interact. It's who they are. And I'm going to tell you right now, they can all cook. Yeah. Because we ate just about all of it as much as we could. And there ain't a single one of them that can't cook. They can all cook. So don't let anybody fool you on that. But man, I tell you, Joe, John, they cook so much food. We work so much. They sleeping by the fire all day and night. I don't think they ever took their boots off for 2 days. But man, we never even checked up. We looked and people were eating and we serving and we visiting. And you look up, it's 4:00 in the afternoon. You're like, man, I ain't had a bite to eat all day. Because me and Matt got out there, we're cooking, you know, we cooked everything from the ground up. And so was Joe and John and a lot of these others. We're out there at 5:00 in the morning with headlamps on, firing our pots up. So we had a 7-hour cook just to get the meat ready.
Yeah, and you gotta have breakfast ready, you know?
Man, well, shoot, these guys were over there. They were they were cooking biscuits and gravy, and these guys were cooking, man. They never checked up. And that's what Joe, he's like, man, and we sold, I mean, we got rid of everything. When we got done, we had 10 gallons. I don't know, I think 300 tacos or 400 tacos, there how many tacos we gave out. And Joe comes over here and says, man, out of all them tacos, I didn't get a single taco all day. So we hadn't heard the end of him not getting a taco. Matter of fact, we're going to make him a T-shirt, Katie Bar Ranch, and on the back of it's, I want my taco. You know?
You ain't getting no damn taco.
You ain't getting no damn taco.
I like it. So, y'all been cooking like farm to fire for a while, and y'all just started making videos. Y'all were selling product first, or what?
Yeah, no, we weren't doing it like we're doing it now.
Yeah.
You know, just imagine like deer camp cooking.
I mean, we started out cooking first. So we kind of came back together cooking, and we'd get around the fire, and like Matt was saying, we'd go hunting or we'd go fishing. Or, you know, we'd harvest on the farm, you know, whatever he needed to cull out or whatever was time to harvest. And we would go through the work that's fun. I keep saying it because, I mean, I believe it. But we'd go through the work that's fun. We'd run traps or we'd do whatever we were doing. And at the end of the day, we'd boil something or we'd harvest something, put some of it in ice chests. And we'd finish the day kind of kick back like we're sitting right now around the fire. And we'd eat what we did. You know, we'd fix something to eat.
If we go fishing, we're not coming home to fillet the fish and just throw them in the freezer.
Right.
You know,
I mean, we're gonna go fish and come home and fry. And are we gonna
Absolutely.
cook it? Something. We pull
Can't,
crabs out of the water. We're gonna boil crabs that day. We're gonna eat.
can't,
And
can't get no
that's
fresher.
kind of how this thing started.
No, what I was
But
asking
like
was like,
cooking.
as far as like the seasoning and or whatever it was, did y'all come up with that first, and y'all was trying to sell a seasoning, or all
No,
this
No,
developed
no.
at one
It
time?
was farm. It was farm to fire first, and it was us just doing kind of that organic thing, and then kind of saying, well, and watching some of these people that you saw out there saying, well, we connect with them, or they're doing these videos. Maybe there's somebody out there that find this interesting.
Toby and I would get together and harvest the sheep, and we take a hindquarter, and we would go in the house, poke holes in it, stuff it full of garlic, try ginger on it, make our own little seasoning blends, and we had one down for sheep.
Yeah.
And then we'd go in the house, if or take it outside, we take these seasonings and we mix up something for deer.
Yep.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and just like pretty much majority of people that cook, they're going to use their own blends or their own things they learned kind of
Your own
growing
Cajun
up,
Trinity or whatever it was.
their own things, right?
Right. Right.
Well, we wanted that. We were always interested in that,
Mhm.
And one day we just started kind of saying,
We can do this.
why don't we do one that and put some time behind it and do one that wasn't just specific for, let's say, lamb.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's do a universal that works for us.
Right.
Now, we found something like we were saying earlier that we fell in love with. We weren't quite sure how others were going to feel about it. We're tickled to death that people are really enjoying it, and
Good,
I mean,
good.
it makes us excited and, and ready to do more. And we just came out with the taco blend.
That's good.
You know,
Where's
and
where's y'all's biggest following at? Like as far as like social media platforms and all that. Where's y'all's?
we've been really focused. Our biggest following would be on Facebook. We've kind of been focusing a little bit more on Facebook because we can do a lot more with it.
Okay.
I feel like maybe Facebook then TikTok.
Okay.
We have some steady growth. That's happening. We're still learning a lot of that stuff. We're a couple of guys that barely knew how to open up our iPhones. We knew how to text and
Sure.
talk, and we could download a couple of apps and stuff like that. But
I'd be fine going back to just walkie talkies, man. I'm just gonna tell you.
Sure.
Smoke signals
Right
or
on.
something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like
That's
that.
right. That's
But
right.
we're learning and we're enjoying it, and we have a handful of people that have really like willing to share.
I mean, they've
some
helped
things
us.
that are helping us. Malcolm Rousey is a good friend of ours, and Malcolm has been very helpful in sharing really interesting, great information that I don't know if we would have stumbled on some of the stuff but that was the cool thing about this community is the majority of the people that are doing it aren't just so self-centered and focused on themselves. That everybody here is very helpful and encouraging, and I want to see everybody win. I'm not in this just to see me and Toby do anything. I want to see the blue collar chef. I want to see all these people just hit grand slam home runs, man. I love watching their content. I love them as people. And what's cool is I feel like the majority of them are the same way. They want to see us win,
Yep.
and that is, I don't know anywhere in business that I've run across this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Well, usually in business, people get real jealous real easy about other people, and it's like, who does he think?
Oh yeah,
he
you're not
is?
going to
How
share
can
a
he do that?
secret. You're not going to share a secret with a competitor.
And a good thing is, like, you can't make every mistake by yourself. So if you run across people that are willing to tell you, hey, this didn't work for me, you could try it if you want, but it's not going to work. But what does work for me is this. You got that community, you got family that's trying to help you out, and that sounds like a lot
Well,
more
it's
like
like, in the very, in back in May or March, I don't even remember which one it was. Joni, um, he was encouraging us to do more videos.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we're like, we really didn't feel like doing that, and we really weren't focused on social media.
And it wasn't that we didn't want to do them or we don't have a good time doing videos. And it's funny that
We
you
just
can
didn't
go
know
back,
how to
you
use
can
that.
go back and watch like video one and then how we interact and how we video now. It's like you come at this thing, and I guess all the big ones. We didn't know that we come at this thing kind of scripted. Is this like a production? Do I need to get on the whiteboard and come up with an outline about what we're about to do?
What's our catchphrase?
Whiteboard. Yeah, I know. It's like, do I got to?
We don't even know if we have.
And I was like, man, I looked up and we started doing this thing, and I told him, I was like, man, this has got to be fun and organic for us, or this isn't gonna last for us. I was like, because I'm not gonna be no dancing chicken. I'm just not gonna do it.
Toby talks about dancing chicken.
I'm not gonna be a dancing chicken, and so I'm just not gonna do it. And so it's like my how I'm talking now and how you see me on the videos, and Matt picks on me as I talk with my hands. So it's like little things. I start talking, I'll point at you, and I'll do this. But and I'm over here. I felt like Ricky Bobby. It's like I don't know what to do with my hands.
What it is Toby points at himself. He always pointing at himself in the camera.
That's right.
Now, what the reason he's a pointer? We didn't even know he was a pointer.
I didn't even know. I'm still talking with my hands.
We didn't know he pointed all the time until somebody in a comment said, "Stop pointing at me."
Well, then it was on. Don't let the gauntlet down.
Challenge
me. I was like, told Toby, I said, "Don't stop pointing. Whatever you do, don't stop pointing."
It was in good fun. It wasn't us trying to be malicious or mean. It was like, well, you know what? You're not going to make everybody happy, but now it's been said, no, I'm not going to stop. So guess what?
Next time I'll be pointing at you again, huh? That's awesome. And that's like me.
I think the response we did to him was 10-4 with the little pointy.
Yeah, that's what we said. 10-4, we pointed at him in an emoji.
That's right.
Yeah,
and it's like
we're having fun, man. We're really having fun, and looking forward to furthering relationships that we've met, meeting new people, encouraging others, and their hobbies and the things that they enjoy, and then the cooking community. That's the one thing that brings us all together, man. We all love to cook.
Yep.
Some people are going to cook a certain way, different from others. But, for Toby and I, we grew up eating jambalayas, gumbos, and all that other kind of stuff. And we still love them to this day. I mean, the jambalaya is cooked in my house at least once a week. Boudin is eaten in my house probably 3 times a week.
But staples.
We love to cook things that are fun for us.
Yeah.
Sure. And then we're gonna cook the normal stuff like around deer camp and everything else. But
and you talk about all this stuff like hunting and fishing and all this stuff. We do it with intent because we enjoy eating it. We harvest this because we live off of it.
It's like catching a fish and going, man, I can't wait till you catch a grouper or you catch a snapper or something like that. Or
just some good man shack catfish. I mean, I want to fry it up. We're gonna eat it.
Perhaps. And that's the thing is like whenever you catch it or you pick it out of your garden or you take it out of your, it can't get no fresher, and you picked it at the peak of freshness, because that's just like whenever you go buy stuff from Walmart over there and you buy that stuff and you're like, and it looks amazing because they done sprayed it with that appeal or whatever it is, the preservative.
Yeah,
appeal. And then they inject that meat over there with the red dye, and man, whenever you eat that, and it just like you get it to the house and you cook it, and you're just like, I'll throw that on the ground to get something out of my garden. You know what I mean? And it's just, it can't get no better than that. And that's awesome that y'all are having a good time. I just think it's a blast that other people are enjoying y'all, doing what y'all love to do, man. And I think that's inspiring to other people.
Man, we looking forward to next steps, whatever that is. We open to it. So, thank you. We thank you and so appreciative to everybody that's opened their arms up to us and helped us and still willing to help us. And And man, we look forward to the next event, the next thing, and if we can help people along the way, then that's the cherry on top.
Yeah, we were talking about Judith's event today.
Yep.
Flying Cajun Cook, Tyler.
Man, they just
awesome people.
Just great people, man. Just a lot of fun.
We're probably going because we can't wait to hang out with everybody, man. I mean, that's what
Absolutely.
we look forward to. We're like, where are we going to go next? And it's really looking forward to hanging out with the crew. We're glad everybody, welcomed us in. We felt like we were welcomed in with open arms,
Y'all got a big
what
family
makes it
now.
more fun for us is what's fun for us is that's almost we because everybody has a good time talking, in good humor trash to each other. But Matt and I show up and do what we love to do and hang out with these people and have a good time. And we don't no more give two shakes of nothing if we win a trophy or we care anything about that stuff. We don't, and it makes we truly have a good time.
Right.
I mean, if we come home with first place, man, that was an accomplishment. Then can you believe we won first place?
And I still.
And then we come home and nobody called our name, and we still load up and say, man, it's a great day. I don't care no more. We're gonna get right back out in the woods and do what we did the day before, and it was a good time. See y'all at the next one. And so,
that's right.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody's in. You got a lane, and ours is ours, and we're gonna stay in it. And we do these events and we go to these things because we choose to be at those events, not because it's our lane to hit some circuit or to be on some wall or any of that. We go because we choose them, and we want to be there, and we genuinely believe they invite us because they want us to be a part of it. The rest of it, that's just, man, I don't give it two thoughts, to be quite honest with you.
We're like kids in the candy store, man.
I think in Louisiana they call that lanyap in Louisiana.
We know all about lanyap, bro.
That's what it is. But I mean, we're just having fun, man. We really enjoy it. We I don't know, man. It's been a blast, and hopefully it's continues to be one for years to come. Yeah. But we got to meet you.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoy talking with you guys, and that's just like, I didn't know how this thing was going to develop, and like I told you, I'll tell Toby or whatever, whenever the Lord told me to do this 2 years ago, and he was just like, I need you to go talk to people, get them excited, and I was like, and I put it off for 2 years, and finally this year, in the beginning of the year, he's like, are you going to do this? And I'm like, I'm not qualified. He said, I'll qualify you. You just need to start. And I was like, all right,
that's good, man. That's right, bro.
I said, yes, sir. And, I just kind of started the people. And whenever I started doing this thing, I don't know how, like I told y'all, I got a $10 camera, $20 light, $10 set of headphones. And I'm trying to go through it. I'm trying to edit the ums out of the videos. And now it's just like, I'll chop whatever out the front. I chop whatever out and just go. And I hate listening to myself, so I don't listen to it. And I don't know how this is going to develop, but y'all come on here. I got to talk to Joe and John. Sky keeps putting people in my way. People are giving me positive feedback. Hopefully I'm getting better talking to people. I just enjoy talking to people, and whatever happens, happens. I get to hear y'all's cool stories that I might have never got to hear because, whatever, I'm not on the circuit with you guys. I haven't got to hang around the fire yet, but hopefully we got the rabbit ragu
We'll set
going.
it up, man. We need to set it up.
That's coming, man. That's coming.
Because I'm coming, baby. But
I said, doors always open. As you can see behind me, we don't have any doors, but they always open.
Heck yeah. Wait till I find out where y'all at. And this is a question I usually ask to everybody. What would be y'all's advice for 18 to 25-year-olds out there?
Oh my goodness. Lord. Wow. I don't know about I don't know what advice I could give to generalize 18 to 25, but how about I start it like this? This is what I'd tell my 18 to 25-year-old self if I could do it now.
Come on with the come on.
I think I'm just going to reiterate this. I think some of the 18 to 25-year-olds. I hear my son talk, and I think they're grasping it a little bit better than the Gen Xers did. I'm one of them, but I think that there's I think there's something to this. I think work-life balance is important. I believe that I've talked about it. I believe that work is work, that we need to do it, that all work is noble. I believe if you can find something that you enjoy doing, I think that putting monetary value on a job and putting money above things, I promise you, I don't know anybody, including myself, that it leads to potentially a lot of heartache. And you mentioned it. Find something you love to do and do it well. I tell you that I'll leave you. I'll say this in kind of closing. I learned a couple of lessons, and one it was from my dad, who I just wish I could say more about, was that if you ever really want to leave your mark on something, raise your hand and volunteer to do the job nobody else wants to do. That's number one. And I think that leaves your mark. And so I think that's important. And I don't believe there's any magic formula other than to say that I believe success is three things. I think it's mastery, I think it's autonomy, and I think it's purpose. I think whatever you do, you should try to master it. I think that whoever you're doing it for should give you enough rope to either pull yourself up with or to hang yourself with. And I think that your purpose should come from truth and from looking up. And I think if you're called to do something, don't let anybody stop you or compromise what you're trying to accomplish. And I think if you can master something, you have autonomy to go master it, and I think you truly have a purpose to go do it. Then the only true metric of that success is happiness. And I don't think it's money, and I don't think it's title. I may be hard for people to grasp, but I believe it to be the truth because I've learned it the hard way. So I tell my 18 to 25-year-old self this. I'd also tell them this is practical, that if you make some money, buy dirt.
Yes.
Because I believe the country song. I say buy dirt. I don't care how much. I don't care if it's a 50 by 75 lot that you don't think that's going to be nothing but a landfill. I don't care. I say go all over and buy as much of it as you can, because he can do a lot of great things, but he ain't making any more of it. Not that I've learned. And so you want to set yourself up. You can do that throughout the course of your life, and you can make any kind of salary. It doesn't matter where you work, how much you're making. That live below your means. I believe there's some real truth in living like no other, so one day you can live like no other. And I believe in investing by dirt and work hard, and there's no magic formula, and grind it out. And find faith in learn to live by it and trust it, and then put your family up there. Love them with all that you can do, and I say apologize when you're wrong, and move forward, and just get up every day and make a choice to do it a little bit better than you did the day before. That's what I tell my 18 to 25-year-old self. Sad thing is that he wouldn't listen either. So, but
right.
I would still say it. So
I mean, a
right.
lot of us have to have a limp. A lot of us
That's
have
right.
a limp. Maybe we wouldn't have learned the lessons we needed to learn had we not been where we needed to be. In that moment.
They stick better.
And they do. They stick, man. Still got a lot of scars from bad decisions, but
no doubt.
a friend of mine told me, he said it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. And that'll put a couple of things into perspective right there.
Man,
we have 18 to 25-year-old. I had a hunger to spend a lot of money. The problem is between 18 and 25, I don't know too many really good things that I was able to really accomplish. I might have had that new pickup truck in the driveway, but I don't have the memory of fond relationships in the process of trying to get that truck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
I've seen a lot of relationships go down, and I've seen a lot of people that have given up who they were for money. And when you see a person go after money so hard that any and everything around them that is so important, family, friends, and everything else, they're willing to compromise those relationships for that, it doesn't end well. It's awfully lonely at the top of that mountain, So, for my kids, I do actually have a couple of kids in that age, and I do see that age group learning a lesson that we didn't know. They're willing to give up certain jobs because they can't do what they want to do in their off time. I know a boy that recently quit his job because it didn't give him the freedom to hunt, to do some of the things he liked to do, and he was building a career. And I look at that and go, that is crazy. But then I look at it and I go, wow, that's inspiring.
Good for him.
You know, that was inspiring for him to put pen to paper and figure out a new way of how are we going to do this financially if I do walk away. We can make it happen. I will find a job that allows the freedom to have a weekend or go to church or hunt or whatever it was. And, that's kind of inspiring. So hopefully some of that age group, that 18 to 25-year-olds, they got a couple of things right.
Yep.
And
there's still some hope left out there, Jeff.
Sure. That's right. Yeah.
There is.
I hope they find it, and I hope, we're able to show them a little something. And, I hope we can find it ourselves, And I like what you guys are doing out there, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
yeah. Appreciate it.
So shout out to you guys at Farm to Fire. Why don't you tell everybody how to find you guys, where to follow y'all, social media, and all that good stuff?
So we have on social media right now, we have TikTok, which you'll find us at Farm to Fire Louisiana on TikTok, Farm to Fire Louisiana on Facebook and Instagram. Our website is farmtofirelouisiana.com. So if you're interested in some seasoning blends,
or just watching a couple of characters cook some stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Either way.
Sounds good, man. Well, this is the Higher Calling Podcast, episode number 23. Just trying to get people on here like Matt and Toby, tell their stories, hopefully get some other people excited, following their heart, finding happiness instead of, involved with everything else. And we really appreciate having you guys on here. Bye, everybody. Thank y'all again.
Hey, we want to end this Farm to Fire fashion.
I got a new toy.
I love it. Yeah. Later, guys.